Peace and blessings. It's your brother Elijah Farrakhan, CEO of EF Resistance. What we're gonna do right now, since me and this brother been studying VSK Jiujitsu about what has it been?
Almost 20, right?
Almost 20 years. He's been more consistent than I have. I took a little time out here and there, but he's been right underneath Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad here at the headquarters in Chicago, Illinois. So what I wanted to do was just give some of the past and present and some of the experience that we went through, and ask him a couple questions, and just basically get some knowledge on why it's important for us to train in self-defense, what it helps in our everyday life. When we first started training, what did you think about VSK Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, my first experience with VSK was kind of interesting because I kind of grew up watching Samurai Sunday. You know, that was before your time. Channel 66, where they play martial arts, karate movies from 12 o'clock till about 5 o'clock. So the thing about it with me was, if you wasn't a Chinese person or a Japanese person, I always thought that the karate moves was just phony to me. Like, I wasn't a Jim Kelly fan, I wasn't a Chuck Norris fan. Like, if you wasn't a Japanese or Korean type of a person, then I necessarily wasn't really feeling it. So when I came into the nation and I heard about Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad, which is Grandmaster Abdul Aziz Muhammad now, when I heard about him, when I first saw him, I mean, I will be honest with you, I was a little skeptical, you know.
Yes, sir.
I was in, I remember being in FOI class, and he came out and did some techniques on Brother Abdul, our beloved Brother Abdul, and Brother Dwayne. And in my mind, I just thought that they was just letting them do it. So I never got up to demonstrate any of the things when it came to each one teach one. I just kind of sat there with a very skeptical mindset. That was my first impression of it, you know. And then later on, I remember coming to the dojo, and Grandmaster did a technique. And again, I'm sitting there in the class now, and I'm thinking GM is basically just doing a technique, and he was doing it on Brother Mike or Brother James, one of those.
Okay.
And the technique that he did was called the heaven and hell technique.
Okay.
So I don't know if GM picked up on my spirit or not, man, but he basically, I think I asked the question, and you know how he does. He called me out, and he did it. And instead of the brother just bending, I stiffened up. So he felt me stiffening up, and he popped me and did the technique and basically swept my leg.
Since the pandemic hit, would you say that martial arts is a very good way to stay fit in your house if you can't make it to the gym? Or what is benefit of martial arts in your life?
Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that there's a spiritual component to every physical aspect of something. So martial arts has always been a spiritual journey with me. You know, it has helped me in relationships, dealing with my wife. Of course, you know how GM is with, you know, him being a counselor, more than just our teacher, our instructor. He's a marriage counselor. He's a father. He's a friend of us. So basically, what I learned is this: a lot of people don't understand that COVID, the thing that they're talking about with COVID, is just not about staying distance, social distancing, and taking vitamins and everything. But there's another aspect of it that talks about staying physically fit.
So the spiritual component that he mentioned, he was saying that Islam and martial arts, or VSK, or martial arts in general, is one. And he said when you lose your way and you out in the world, he said the martial arts will help you get back centered. But one thing I love overall, GM would say this. We'd be at the dojo, and you know, we got through that hard work and we think the test is over or the day is over for the challenge that we went through. And he'll say, why didn't I see you at FOR class? You know, and talking about a man that always is reaching to pull the best out of you at all times. At all times. In VSK, what were some of the first motions or movements that captured you? Maybe something GM did, maybe something that you learned, or you know, a lock, something that just grabbed you, some kind of a technique, what, you know, anything that grabbed you, that made you in your early days say, you know what, I like this, I can see this being real, and I can use this, you know.
Yeah. The thing that I could think about that comes to my mind is the flow of it.
The flow, yes sir.
It was his energy. Most people that study other things, it was very robotic. And the thing that I found out later was I didn't like the roboticness of Jim Kelly, Chuck Norris. I never liked the roboticness of them, you know, and you know, I may get a little trouble in this. I wasn't quite a Bruce Lee type of dude to me, because Bruce Lee had that very hard type of movement, and I was used to I like the kung fu flow.
That's
so to me, that's what stood out to me about GM. Another thing that made sense to me about GM was a, I mean, this man, I remember one day somebody asked a question in class about the size of a person. And GM used to keep those, he had those three posters we had. One of them was a person with muscles. The other one was a person that was a skeleton.
Right.
And the other one was the one that had nerves.
Nerves and veins.
And he said, don't look at a person like this. Look at them like this. I remember when you and I worked at the Palace. And I worked the outside security and you worked the inside security. And we used to get in trouble all the time by your father because we used to practice all the time in the driveway or the garage, and your father would always hit us on the unit, you know, who's on post. We would always get in trouble. So my question is, when I first started training, when I came to base 1 to start working at the Palace, it seemed like you had already knew some things already. So how long have you been training?
I was training probably probably like 3 months ahead of you, something like that. GM, my dad was always showing me GM as a child, you know, because he was with the Ninja Turtles.
Right.
So he would show us the Ninja Turtles, and then he'd be like, "This is the master." GM had on the clan outfit as a foot soldier, and he was like, "This is the master." I ain't know. I never could calculate a black man with being a master martial artist, because all I saw was kung fu and 36 chambers, you know, and all of them old school movies, Wu-Tang stuff, you know. So, you know, when I had the opportunity, I'll say it like this: I started trying to train with GM, and I ran away because it was not what I thought martial arts was supposed to be. They never showed the aspect of sweating and going through all of the crazy exercises before you even get to the punches and the kicks and the blocks and, you know, all of the cardio that we had to do and the stretching. So when I came to the dojo, GM told me to do some laps. I was fresh off of some Newports, you know what I'm saying? I was fresh off some Newports, and he was like, them laps, and I remember him taking a call, and he went in the office, and I was running, and when I got to my second lap, instead of passing the door, I ran out the door. I didn't even tell GM I was gone, I just ran out the door. And that was it because I was around 16 or 17. And then I didn't come back till I was around maybe like 21, somewhere in there. And I think that was around the time, it was at the Palace, and a little bit after that, you know, and we hooked up. But let me tell you how much of a blessing it was. What GM put inside of us is locked on a frequency between me and you. Dwayne and Abdul locked on a frequency between each other. It was like this is your twin, but this is your rival, but this is your brother. You see what I'm saying? We switched them roles to advance each other. You know what I'm saying? So we was always in rotation. You know what I'm saying? And when we got together, it was like they knew we was a pair. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was real love. You know what I'm saying? So when we got together, you know, at the Palace and started training, we was inseparable. I mean, we would love to come to work because you know, work could be boring because you stand on post, or you know, man, as soon as we had a little break, we outside. Hook. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, then we started freesiding on the ground. Yeah. We would go to Dunkin' Donuts and get our little coffee, our blueberry muffin. So right now what we're gonna do is just do some techniques back and forth. We're not gonna really go fast, but you know what we're doing, and let me say this for the critics, you know, a lot of people say, so he throws a straight punch, right? And he leaves it out here, right? So you say, no one's gonna leave it out there. Of course they're not. Of course they're not. But for basic beginners and people that's learning, it's just like when you go to BJJ, right? You go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you lay on the ground, the master tells you, okay, get in my guard. And he guides you through the basics until you're able to move on your own, all right? Because realistically, he'll pull that back, right? He'll pull that back, you see what I'm saying? But for us to teach basics, that's how we teach the basics. All right, so I'm gonna show you a technique. It's different moves that my teacher taught me. It's gonna have long moves in it, it's gonna have boxing in it, it's gonna have kung fu in it, and it's gonna have some secret hidden strikes, all right? So check it out. It's gonna be from him coming to push or grab me. So as he does this, again, what I'm gonna do is do what's called a cross palm, so I can help him bypass my shoulder, which is his point of attack, so he can push me or pull me, right? So as he comes, I'm just gonna do this. See how far he leans in. I'm gonna use that energy. As he comes, soon as he comes, I'm shooting this inside to him, okay? One, I'm gonna grab, after I hit, he's gonna start moving, so I'm grabbing his head because I don't want him to go nowhere. From this, I'm gonna pull him forward. His chin and his neck is here. I'm gonna use what's called hakaru, and I'm gonna shoot this up right into the throat, up from here. Once I hit the throat, I'm gonna make a fist, which is a short strike, and I'm gonna pull it back. One from here, and then I'm striking or coming down with the elbow. So it's all locked in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Strike it right underneath the throat. Pow from here. After I hit to the throat, which can crush his larynx, which is cause him to suffocate and die. From here, once I line up, my arm is here, I'm just gonna cock my wrist up and snatch my arm back to me. Boom, from here, which puts his face to me. And then from here, I can drop down elbow or something. So it's a short motion. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm still inside. I'm still inside. All right. See the how it works. So let's see. 1 inside from here, up, top. I can come here. Boom. I'm still. If he's still here, so am I until it's over with. All right. Push.
What I want to go through is this. Since I've been on this little series about bullying and sex trafficking, most of what somebody's going to do is basically going to come and try to grab you or push you. So I'm going to use his body weight against him. So the first thing I want to do, if a person is trying to aggress you, their hands have to leave their safe area and enter into what I call the danger zone. It's the danger zone. So once the person comes to push, if a person does this, they're either coming to push you or they're trying to pull you. So what we're gonna do is this: as a person comes to push, we're gonna step back. We're just gonna step back and drain the power. Now he may very well be planted here, but the fact that I lean back this way is gonna draw him in.
Oh, we need to see
that's
that.
what's happening. Yeah. So, 1, and the only thing I'm doing is this: I'm actually guiding his hand. And what I'm doing is something very similar to what he just did. I'm coming right up underneath. All right? So I'm going 1, and what I want to do is this: 2, very simple, down here, and the groin area is right here. I want to pop the groin and sweep the foot out, causing him to fall to the back of the head. So it's very simple. As he's stepping forward, I'm coming up. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and I can sweep either one. I can go minor or I can go major. It all depends on what I'm feeling at that particular time. So 1, I want to, as I'm here, I want to just lean forward, and I'm not trying to hit here. I'm actually trying to hit the dude behind him, but his chin is in the way. So this is what I'm doing, which causing him to go all the way back here, which me dropping right down into his chest, the solar plex area, right up in his sternum. And as I do this, I'm gonna knee him in the groin and sweep out the leg. And I'm just gonna basically just let him go. So, 1, 2. Yeah. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. 1. Even if I get him here, that's good. 2, pass him. I'm driving past him. If I get him in or whatever it is, it's fine. Dropping my weight down. In and sweep. Major sweep. All right. You could do it either way. You can step back with the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Done either way. One more time. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.